Hello and welcome back to Alex Banks. Today we're going to be making a recipe that I found on the internet for a school lunchroom pizza. So to get started, I'm going to make the sauce. You're going to need tomato paste, olive oil, black pepper, salt, minced garlic, an herb mixture of crushed rosemary, basil, and oregano, and water. The recipe doesn't really give any instructions on how to make the sauce. All it says is to make it the day before. All the measurements for the ingredients will be listed below. After making sure all of my ingredients were well incorporated, I decided to give it a taste, and I'm not entirely sure about this, but I don't really want to edit this recipe because I want it to be true to the original post. So hopefully this comes together. It's now the next day, so we're going to make the crust. We're going to need all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, vegetable oil, powdered non-fat dry milk, instant rise yeast, water, and salt. Into a large mixing bowl, we're going to add our flour, milk powder, sugar, yeast, and salt. Next, we're going to add our oil to our water and throw it in the microwave for a few seconds to get it in between 105 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Using an instant read thermometer, I checked the temperature of my water, and once that is good, I added that to the bowl of dry ingredients, and the recipe specifically says to use a wooden spoon. The recipe also states not to worry about lumps, only to make sure that there are no dry spots. Now that this is done, I'm going to set it aside and line my baking tray with some parchment paper. With a pair of scissors, I trim the edge of my parchment paper to easier fit inside of my baking sheet. Next, I'm going to grease my pan with a little bit of vegetable oil and make sure I get both sides of the parchment paper as well. Now that my sheet tray is prepped, I'm going to go ahead and press the dough into it. This is honestly the weirdest dough I have ever worked with. It's nothing like a bread dough, nothing like a pizza dough. It's kind of like a cake batter. Either way, we will continue for the sake of science by pressing this dough into the edges of the sheet tray. Once the dough has been pressed into the edges of the pan, it's going to go into a preheated 475 degree oven for 8 to 10 minutes. While that's baking, I'm going to go ahead and shred an 8-ounce block of mozzarella cheese. I'm going to pull my sauce out of the fridge and stir it up because that oil has separated. I decided to give the sauce another taste, and it definitely tasted better than it did last night. Finally, I'm going to brown some ground chuck in a large skillet until it resembles crumbles. I'm going to season this with salt and pepper, and once this has rendered all of its fat, I'm going to drain it and set it aside. Now that the crust is finished baking, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out of the oven and start to assemble. Using the back of one of my measuring cups, I spread the sauce all the way to the edge of the crust and then covered that with mozzarella. Finally, I added my browned meat to the top. Next, this will go back into the oven for 8 to 10 minutes or until the cheese is as brown as you like it. And there we have it, boys and girls, school lunchroom pizza. Once this comes out of the oven, you're going to let it stand for about 5 minutes before you start to cut it. Now I'm going to cut this into the traditional rectangle, and as always, buen provecho, bon appetit, itadakimasu. However you say it, enjoy. Now this came out exactly how it used to taste when I was in school, so I would say recipe successful. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week on Alex Makes.